Okay, so we talked about the log browser, which is a feature which enhances the security of the online test. It's a customized browser, creates a log testing environment within eRacer so students cannot go to any other site. With the log browser, students are unable to print or copy. They're unable to pull up any other website or use any other applications. And in order for that to happen, the browser must be installed on the student's computer. So as I was saying, you may need to request for assistance from the IT department if you're going to be using the log browser. So as we said a while ago, it creates a locked environment. Tests are displayed full screen and cannot be minimized. Task switching is prevented, so a student cannot go from one window to another. They cannot go to Google while they're testing, or to Bing or search or any other search engine. Printing functions are disabled. The student cannot print the questions to maybe give to their friends, lecturer, or print screen and capturing of functions are disabled. Cannot do a print screen. Copying and pasting anything to and from the test is prohibited.
But not to take their pictures on the phone.
That's why I said that they can still circumvent it. And for you to use it effectively, you have to use it as an additional feature while you're in class doing the proctoring yourself. Since you may not be able to see every student at the same time, so that this may just be as an additional feature during the testing, not as a feature on its own.
I have to use the paper test.
Okay. So once you've set up the assignments, be it the file upload or online testing, the other part is managing the assignments, managing the students' work. So how do you go about doing that? So it's not just, you don't just create an assignment and then just wait for to the end of the semester or the end of the term. So there's the option of going in and managing, seeing students' progress, seeing those who've completed the assignments, how many have completed, and seeing if you need to reopen an assignment for a student. Sometimes in the course of a test or an assignment, there may be an issue, the computer goes up or there's no power or the internet goes down and the student is kicked out. You'll be required to go in and reopen the test or the quiz for the students. So that's where managing comes in. And also it gives you an idea of how many students are actively coming along with you, or how many students kind of wait until the due date. So let's take a look at how that process works. Back to the same. To manage assignments, you want to go to the coursework and click on the link of the assignment. So let's wanted to manage one of these quizzes. So we'll go to quiz 2. You want to look at the data or the information you have in front of you, specifically the grade, the completion status, and time spent. Like this is almost completed. Let me pull up something which is kind of in progress. If I can have one coursework. This is what, let me do it, see, this is, okay. So right here, this tells me, when it says still open, it simply means one is not yet, the student has not yet completed or taken the quiz or test, and of course it's not yet the due date. This also tells me how much time a student may have spent taking the test. Now, if a student calls and say they were in the midst of taking a quiz or an online test and were kicked out, you can always go in and reopen the quiz or the test for the student. Or if the student calls and say, to the test, I'm not satisfied with my score, can I have another attempt? You can always go in and reopen the quiz or test for the student. So let's assume that I wanted to maybe reopen for this student. So what you do is you click on the student's name. Once you click on the student's name, you have a summary window. There's the option to grant a retake. Once you click on that, you have the possibility of setting a new due date and time for that particular student. And also the system will prompt you to decide on the grade to consider, either the highest or the average. I'm going to do it, but I can always cancel it. So if I were to do grant a retake, see right here, due date, and then the option of determining what grade to consider. But I'm not going to do that for this student. Then sometimes you also show a detailed history as to when the assignment was created. So this window here is very important. Sometimes you open an assignment for a student. They don't do it, and it closes because it's gotten to the due date. And they come, oh, you did not open the assignment. You can always come here and look at the detailed history of the assignment. It tells you when it was opened, and if at all the student started it or not, and when it closed up. If this student, if say this assignment was closed yesterday and this student had not taken it, it would be obvious that the student did not make any attempt. So if there are any issues, you can always pull up the detailed history. And if you were to reopen the assignment, it will show on this detailed history as evidence of the fact that you reopened the assignment. So this is how to go about managing an online test office. Now, sometimes a student may be kicked out while they're in the process. So you can have them to pick up from where, you can get a student to pick up from where they start at the time there was an issue. So you simply come and you click on rework the assessment. So they'll pick up from where they start. Of course, you can add feedback if you need to, but mostly they will vary. So this is an instance. So this is an example of managing an online test. Let's look at how to manage the file upload format. Basically, it's similar. So let me pull up a file upload. Again, if you want to manage, you take, of course, if it's turned in, you'll see if there's no file here, if it says 0 file, it means the student did not submit the file. Okay, they didn't turn in anything. If the student has turned in a file and it's not been graded, here it will be complete but no grade. You see the word complete, you don't see any grade. Now, if a student uploads a file but does not turn in the assignment, you're going to see number of files 1, but you'll not see the word complete here. So, because when it comes to uploading an assignment, when it comes to submitting a file upload assignment, there are 2 stages. The student uploads the file and then has to turn in the assignment. If they upload the file and do not click on turn in the assignment, it will show 1, but not complete. And because it's not complete, you'll not be able to grade it. You'll have to go back and turn in the file. So let's assume that you want to give you want to reopen this assignment for the student who did not turn it in. Simply click on the student's name and reopen the work. Choose a date and then click on reopen the work. Once you do that, the student will be able to gain access to the assignment and, of course, complete the work. The history is the same, just as with the online test. It tells you, see, like in this case, this student did not complete it. This assignment was opened on the 21st and automatically turned in on the 22nd. And it was automatically graded on the 22nd also. Now, this is 21st of August, and this is 22nd of September. So the student had over a month or so to do it, and they never got to do it. So the system automatically graded it, and that was the grade. So if I were to go in now, I just want to do something. Reopen, and I'll give today's what? Give a due date of 8 at 11:55. Reopen the work. When I come to detailed history, it shows that I reopened it. That is it there. So if by say tomorrow on if by this due date, the student has not completed the work, and they come and like, oh, and they try to accuse me for not having, and they say I did not, or they say you did not reopen the work. You can always pull up the history. It will show what happened in the student's account. This was reopened. I need to go back and change this, close the assignment. So that's managing assignments, students' progress, and being able to reopen. Now, another thing which a couple of students do is instead of maybe sending you emails about their concerns, they'll come and put that in the comment section within the assignment. When the student puts a comment, see right here, add a comment. Of course, you also don't receive an email about that comment. The only way you get to know that there is a comment is if you come within the assignment in the coursework. I want to pick an example here where there was a comment. Let me see if there's any. Okay, right here. Well, this is just telling me that there was one. There's one which needs to be graded. It's not a comment per se. Yeah. But if a student places a comment within the coursework or within the assignment, you'll get a flag somewhere. You'll get a flag in here. I don't have any example. And that's the only way you can tell that there's a comment, and then you go in and respond. But if you're having students do assignments within eRacer, encourage them to email you their concerns or comments, not to put them in there, because if a student posts a comment and you don't get to the coursework until the following day, you may not be able to respond to it in a timely manner. Whereas if they send you an email, you get it on the same day, if not a couple of hours afterwards. Okay, let's see. Okay. Another aspect of the coursework is the analytics, viewing statistics about online tests. When it comes to assessing student learning outcomes, usually we tie the learning outcomes to quizzes or tests or assignments. That's how we get to evaluate the learning outcomes. And you, of course, can do that manually by going through the student scores and seeing how many met the learning outcome based on, of course, on the questions we're using to assess the learning outcome. Now, if the questions you're using to assess a specific learning outcome are within the online test or online quiz, you can pull up your statistics from eRacer. You don't need to do any manual calculations. And so that's where this comes in. So the test analysis provide data on all graded online assignments. So it's got to be computer-based, not what you grade manually. It provides a snapshot of students' performance on the assignment. It also gives us a summary of the relative difficulty of the assignment and each of its questions. Provides you with information about the discrimination index as to how difficult a question was, and then also it can also provide you the information about the distractor performance in multiple choice questions. So let's take a look at that. So if we were to look at this quiz, for example, take a look at the analytics. So once you get within the quiz page, there's view test analysis. You click on that. There's the summary information, total number of students who took the test, average time spent on the test, the time spent, the shortest time spent by the students, the fastest, the slowest time, average score, median score, the mode, the highest score, and then the low score. Okay, so this is a summary of the test analysis. And then there's the charts, 3 different types of charts. The first chart is a bar chart of the letter grade distribution. This is F, D, C, B, and A. So a glance at this tells you what the more students, many or more students got an A, and then of course one student each for F and D, and then 2. And then there's the question difficulty distribution. The difficulty distribution is rated between 0 and 1. The higher the distribution, the more difficult the question was. It goes from 0 to 0.2, 0.2 to 0.4, 0.4 to 0.6, 0.6 to 0.8, 0.8 to 1. There are 6 questions which are a lot more, so as I said a while ago, the higher the difficulty index, the more difficult the question was. And then there is the average score by performance group. Usually in a class setting, you almost always have 3 categories or 3 groups of students. Those who are doing well, those who are not doing so well, and then there's a group in between. So you could decide to have some analysis based on the 3 performance groups. By default, eRacer kind of places 25% of the students in the top performance group, 25 in the bottom, and 50 in the middle. But you can always modify that. You can change that depending on what on the type of analysis you want to do. And then there is the grid view, which gives you the question, the level of difficulty, the discrimination index, and then of course the average score for each of the questions. If you see something like this, it simply tells you that the difficulty level was very low. In other words, it's not a very difficult question. It's right here. And then there is now the analysis by question. How many students responded to a particular question? How many passed the question? How many failed? I use this when it comes to the student learning outcomes. So if I was using a specific question or a number of questions to assess a learning outcome, this is where I come and get my data. I don't have to sit down and do any calculation. Like I think it was last semester, Dr. Johnson sent an email of the document for us to fill out about the student learning outcomes. I just came and pulled this up and got the questions which I was using to assess specific learning outcomes and got the data from me. I didn't have to sit down and do a lot of calculation. So this is where it kind of pays off to do the work of setting up your coursework and the online tests and online quizzes. Once you do that, when it comes to time to collect some data or do any analysis, you simply come and pull up your data and fill out the paperwork or whatever it is that is required of you. If you want a bit more information about the analysis basics, you can click here and read about that. Performance groups, 25% will be the top, 50 the middle, low 25, and then the lower group, the 25%. Difficulty rating from 0 to 1, discrimination index -1 to 1. This is kind of discriminates between the students who are not doing so well and those who are doing well. Again, it's a way of you finding out if some questions are too difficult for a specific group of students, and you know how to go about either modifying or taking care of it. Yes.
So I get into this through coursework and the online text format.
This is the analysis. For you to get to this, you ought to have created an online test and have it graded first.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, you go through that to create an online test.
Yes.
Then once it's graded, then you have the analysis. Actually, for you to have the analysis, there should be at least 3 students who have taken the test. For there to be any significant, 3 for you to already, because for any analysis, you need to have a significant number of data points. So for eRacer, minimum is 3 students. So if you set up an online test and only 2 students complete a test, you will not get this analysis. It should be at least 3 students.
But it appears that the analysis also includes students who didn't show up to take the test.
Yes. Let me see. This is safety languages. Exactly.
It's online.
But these people didn't show up.
Yes. The overall gives you that. If you go to the questions, you click question after question.
Okay.
Yeah, you did here. If you click, right.
Only, grade group.
Okay. Now, you're in group group. No, you should be in coursework. 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 Okay. Pull up a quiz. If it's a quiz online. Yeah. This is not online quiz, so you will not see this detailed analysis from C.
Oh, okay, so I've got to go into the test and click the questions.
Yes.
Okay,
For online quizzes, for online tests only.
okay.
That's where you get to see this detailed analysis.
Oh, I see what
Okay.
you're
Yeah.
saying.
But if it's file uploaded, that's what you get to see.
Okay. Perfect, thank you.
And it says the default time middle low. Could I have 4 categories there by chance? Could I make my own?
But
Like you have default high, middle, low. Could I make 4? Like,
what I know is you can modify the percentages. I don't know if you can have 4 groups.
okay.
Yeah,
all
I
right.
know that you can
So
modify the
I
percentages.
have a thing in mind. That'd be great.
But you can. I've not tried creating a 4th
All right.
group.
All right.
I know you can modify the
But that says
percent.
default. That means
Yeah, it's default.
maybe,
Default
I
has to be
think I
the
could do something different if I wanted.
default sizes.
Yeah.
It says default sizes.
Uh-huh.
That's this 25, 50,
Yeah.
25. That's what it's
Yeah.
referring to. You can modify it. So if you want to modify, you just go to performance groups right here, edit
Right.
group size.
Okay.
This is simply the percentages. It will not let you add a new group. You can change this from 25 to see this. It will not let you change the performance group.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just 3 groups.
Okay.
Uh,
Too bad. Yeah, I have just a little thing in my mind. I wanted to have 4 groups. Okay. I'm just pushing the limit.
That's okay.
Now, can you cut and paste the test in there? Do you have to type every question?
You have to type one question after the other. Again, it's somewhat tedious, but once you've done it, it pays off.
Yeah, oh, I agree.
You couldn't copy and paste line by line?
Yeah, you copy and paste line by
Line by
line.
line, but not.
Yes, you can copy and paste line by line. Yes, you can.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, we'll be getting to that shortly. Once you've created a test quiz, you can always save it in the file cabinet. I'll be showing you guys soon, and use it some other time, maybe in another course or during another term. You can just download it and either modify it or create a new quiz or test out of that. But we'll be getting to that shortly.
Copy and paste. Does it have to be in Word or can be PDF?
If you can copy from PDF, that's fine. If you're able to copy from PDF, that's fine.
Okay, but if PDF is have to be the complete thing, it will let you
So
know.
some PDF files will let you copy some of the content. Yeah. So the structured performance, this is mainly for multiple choice questions. Sometimes with the multiple choice questions, you put answers which are close to the right answers, but not, those are usually used to kind of, for distraction purposes. So we want to see how those questions which were intended to distract the student are doing. So that's what this is for. Okay. And then if you want to see how each student did for a specific question, right here. So this is question 1, and this is the performance for all of the students for question 1.
That's awesome.
Let me see, what do we have next? So we've talked about discrimination index, distractor performance.
I'm done.
Okay. The next part is that of gradebook configuration.
So if you've got a test question where everybody misses it, you throw that question out?
You have to do an evaluation. Why did they miss it? You have to go back and find out why did everybody fail that particular question? Did I miss something during the lesson, or did the student, what happened?
Do you ask the students?
Yeah, I do. I do ask. Sometimes I tell them, let's have a family reunion. What happened? Why was the performance this low? What did I do wrong? Sometimes I do tell them. Sometimes I ask, what do you guys think I should do? One of the sessions, the student was like, I should bring candies to class and give. I said, no, not in college.
Oh,
Yeah.
funny.
But sometimes you think you've done the best you could, you think you've done all you should, and then things turn out otherwise. I'm not saying that you should blame yourself. You're giving the students the benefit of that. Could be that something went wrong between you disseminating the lesson and the students receiving it. It's not that you didn't do your job, you did it, but in between the students receiving what you were trying to transmit or communicate to them, something they have faltered. You try to find out what you want, so that you shouldn't find yourself in the same situation with the next set of students coming your way. Okay.
I didn't understand the question.
Yeah. The wording of the question.
The other thing we have to be very diligent about is that of setting up the grade book, because this is where a student gets to kind of see where they stand in your class. It should reflect, in principle, the grade book should reflect the students standing in your class at any point in time. And if it's not properly set up, either the student will be getting a wrong grade or a wrong signal, and then when you end up correcting it, the grade drops, and they're like, oh no, yesterday I had an A, now when I went in today it's a B or C, what happened? And no matter how much you try to explain, they always put the blame on you. So when it comes to setting up your grade book, you want to go from what you stated in your syllabus, because the course was designed or created based on what you have in the syllabus. Now, there are mainly two formats of setting up your grade book. There's the point format, and then there's the weighted format. The easiest is the point format. In other words, your grading is simply based on points. If it's 1,000 points, a student makes 900 points, they get an A. If it's point format, you really don't need to bother that much. Once you create your assignments and coursework, and if you decide to use the attendance as part of the grade, you include that in. As you're posting the grades within coursework, they are rolling over to the grade book. But if you do the weighted method, which is the percentage, you're going to have to go in and manually input the weights in gradebook. Okay. So if, again, as I said a while ago, you have to go by what is stated on your syllabus. That's because the syllabus is like a contract between the students and us. You can't just turn around and change things at will or at random. So in this particular case, I'm going by the weighted method. As I said, I'll do both methods. Okay. So I will. I don't have an example with the point method here because all of my classes are weighted. But point method, as I said, is very simple. If you're doing the point method, whatever you have in the coursework as a grade simply rolls over to the gradebook. The only addition which you may have to do is, so this is gradebook right here. One of the things you always want to check in your gradebook is the letter grade ranges to make sure that they are what the catalog states they should be. 0 to 59 F, and then D will be 60 to 69, C 70 to 79. You want to make sure that this is correct. And if it's not correct, you can always modify it by clicking on Change Grade Scale. So there's the GIGS default grade scale, which is what we have right now. You can modify it if you were not so. So I'll leave it as is. I'll actually just cancel. So I'm doing weight, the percentages, which is weighting or weight method. You want to make sure that what you have in here reflects what is stated on the syllabus. So if you look at my syllabus, I have discussions 5%, quizzes 10%. Let me put this side by side if I can. So if you see discussions is 5%, we have 5% there. We want to make sure that it matches. Quizzes, what comes? Final exam, 25. Homework, what I call homework is that's 15%. Midterm is 25. Quizzes 10, and test 20. The challenge with demonstrating this is if I were to modify it, it's going to impact the students' grades. And then if I go and create it in a blank course share, you won't see anything because there are no grades and there are no students. But let's pull up a blank course.
So you don't factor attendance into your grade?
No, I don't. I'm not here. Not here. So let's try to. By the way, how many of us here use the point? How many of us here use the point format?
What?
Point. Your final grade is based on.
How many points you have?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I use.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's the easiest. It's straightforward.
Yeah.
It's straightforward. So whatever you put in the coursework, we also have to the grade book. And then, of course, you want to factor the attendance into the grade. You simply want to make sure that you check attendance in here. What is it? Evaluations. So right here, you want to make sure if you're going to be including attendance in the final grade, you want to check it here and maybe modify the score if you need to. But I don't have attendance in my grade. So now how many of us here use percentages? Okay. Do you have difficulty setting that up in gradebook?
No, Yahoo showed me how, it's fine.
Okay. As I said, the challenge.
Makes sense for me.
The challenge with doing it in a blank course here is that you're not able to see any grade since there's no student in it.
Question. I don't know if now is the time or not. But I want to know how to save assignments into the file cabinet.
We'll be doing that.
Okay.
Okay. I'll just go ahead and demonstrate how to create the weighted method, just for the sake of those who may be watching this later on, who are not there, who may be watching it. So if we pull up a new course shell, future. So if I were to pull this up, let me see coursework. Okay. So what you want to do is go to gradebook, final grade weighting. You want to currently the method they have is the point method. Okay, so you have to change it to the weighting method. what would they have by default is a point method. So you have to change it. See change weight method, and then I'll select I'll select custom method, now configure. No, not custom. Let me go by unit. Okay, this is what I was looking for here. So now you put on, it will automatically pick the types you created in the coursework. So you put the weight, the percent, the weight for the exam quizzes. It's easier for you to do this once you have it set up already in your syllabus. And you simply kind of mirror this. But again, as I said a while ago, the point method is the default, and for some people, it's a lot more easier. Okay. What do we have next? Okay, reviewing and adjusting grades. I'll go to this right here, pull something which is current. You can adjust grades in the coursework as well as in the gradebook itself. You can add bonus points in the coursework as well as in the gradebook itself. So let's look at how to adjust grades from within the coursework. Let's go with quiz 1. If you go to more, you can give a class-wide bonus. So you want to give a bonus, you want to give bonus points to the entire class. You go to, so within the quiz, online quiz or test, click more, click give a class-wide bonus. You put the points down, then hit on save. Now, if you want to add a bonus to individual students based on maybe some extra performance or some extra work, I don't know. You click the student's name. I'm just taking that. Did the student do anything? You can change the grade if you want, but there should be an option to add the bonus. Huh? If you give an assignment as an extra credit, yes, you can do that also. But this here we're looking at how to adjust the grades. Yeah. So you can change this grade if you prefer partial, put in the score. So that's for the online quiz. Let's look at the file upload, assignment. Again, if you go to more, you can give a class-wide bonus. Or if you prefer let me take a student who has submitted something. Maybe I have 20, let me see right here. Yeah, you can always modify or change the grade. So that's how we'll go about adjusting or modifying the grade from within coursework. Now you can also modify or change the grade from within gradebook. It doesn't show me that option here. I know there's a feature to. No. There's a feature to add a class-wide bonus from within the gradebook. Let me just draw you guys' attention to the fact that if you're doing the weighted method and there's one of the types which is not included in your weighting, you'll see it here. It says items with missing weights. This right here is what I'm using to assess the students because I do not want it to impact their grades. I do not factor it into the final grade. So even though it's saying it's missing, it's not an issue per se. It's just letting me know that this is not included in the final weight. And as I said, it's I'm using it for assessment, and I don't want it to affect their final grade. This is for my personal evaluation. So if you see this, it doesn't mean that there's something where it's simply because you decided not to include that in the final grade weighting. Okay. Submitting grades to the eRacer2 system. There's normally a feature which would allow you to submit grades from here into the system, but according to the practice here, grades are submitted to the registrar's office instead. So we cannot demonstrate that feature here. Okay. The file cabinet. So this is a feature which comes in very handy. It makes work or life a bit more, a lot more easier for you or for us once we've done all of the work behind the scenes. So when you create an assignment, a quiz, a test, you can always save that in your file cabinet to use it, say, in another section or in another course. Okay? So we're going to look at how to save assignments in the file cabinet, how to import assignments from the file cabinet, and also how to copy course content or course material from another course into a new course. So let's go back to the future course we're using this morning. Future. I know we created a quiz. So you go to coursework. Quiz 1. So let's assume that you'll be using this quiz, say, in another section or in another class or next semester. What you want to do is save it somewhere, just in case you're unable to get to this window.
Okay.
So,
I'm sorry, I'm not-
yeah, let's get back.
I'm not.
So
Okay, I clicked on coursework.
I clicked on coursework, and I selected, so you select any quiz or assignment, it doesn't matter. So just click on the link. I click on quiz 1. So for you, it could be assignment 1. Just any assignment will do. So
Okay, can I add an assignment, because I want to save it in the file cabinet?
yes.
Okay,
So
so,
I want to demonstrate how to save it in the file cabinet. So once I click on the link for the assignment or the quiz, there is this more option where it says more. And then to the left of the window which pops up, it says save to your file cabinet. Now, because you're going to be saving many quizzes and many assignments within the file cabinet, you want to give names which are descriptive of the specific quiz or assignment. Because if you just say quiz 1 for this course, any other course which is listed under you, and for which you also have another quiz 1, when you say that other quiz 1 to the file cabinet, you're having 2 quiz 1s and you may get confused. So what I do is I label my quizzes in such a way that if I happen to save multiple quizzes in the file cabinet, I'm able to distinguish which is which. So I'm going to modify the label for this quiz. So I'm going to go to edit. I'll name it, I could say quiz 1, spring 2020. Okay? That's because I have other quiz 1s within my file cabinet. And then I'll save. Now I'll go back and then save it in the file cabinet. So you go to more, save to file cabinet. See, the message says the assignment quiz 1 has been saved in the file cabinet.
Okay.
Now,
Where is my file cabinet?
we're going to pull it shortly.
Okay.
It's there.
It's there somewhere.
You can only upload and retrieve from it. You
Yes.
cannot go into see per se.
Okay.
Yes, yes. So let's assume that now we want to create quiz 2. I want to use some of the questions in quiz 1, maybe because students didn't do well in quiz 1, or students did, based on our test analysis, students did not perform well on some of the questions in quiz 1. We don't want to give the entire quiz 1 out again. We just want to use some of the questions in quiz 1 to build up quiz 2. So we'll go ahead and create a new quiz and import the questions from the file cabinet into the new quiz. Does that make sense? So I'm in coursework. I'll go to Unit 2. I want to create a second quiz, just as we did before. Add an assignment, online test. I'll give you the name quiz 2. You want to make sure that it's under Unit 2. And the tab is quizzes. You want to put in place the due date. Let's select 22nd. Students to be able to see it. Why is it? What's going on here? Why is this grade? You must build it. Oh, yeah, that's it's graded. So, and then of course I put in my online options, test review, time limit, 20 minutes, lock students out if you want to, shuffle if you want to, require that the students use the lockdown browser. Once you save, you'll be moved to the test builder. So right here, I can add a question, or I can import questions from file cabinet. So I'm going to click on import questions from file cabinet. As you can see, I've been saving a whole lot. And so that's this way, if I have not been using specific names, I'll get into problems. So I'm going to, since I'm looking for the quiz we saved a couple of minutes ago, I'll be looking for quiz 1, spring 2020. This is it right here. So click on the quiz which you intend to import. And then you can click on section of questions if it doesn't. If there are 2 sections, then you go by the section you want. But in this case, I have just 1 section. So regardless of whether I choose section of quizzes, it really doesn't matter. Then I'll click on the quiz and then click on import. It says 1 section has been imported. Click OK. And then go back to the test builder. So these are the questions which are within the test 2 that I'm creating. And then I can go in and modify or use the questions as they are. So this kind of saves you time, especially if you're going to, sometimes at the end of the semester or mid-semester, instead of maybe creating an entire test or quiz, you may just want to use all of the quizzes prior to that and create a pool test. So you just kind of import. So let's assume that I wanted to create a pool test out of many quizzes. I'll go ahead and import other quizzes. Import. I'm just going to do this at random.
Do you have to create each question individually?
In the online quizzes, yes. Type or copy and paste, whichever works for you. So let me get another quiz. We'll go up 1 level. Let's take this one right here. Import. It's done. So this is all of what we imported from the file cabinet. In order to go to create a pool test, I'm going to move all of these questions 1, 2, 3 to just 1 section or 1 window. Since we have this already, I'm going to move everything up here. So what you do is you go to manage, check this window to select all of the questions. Make sure the move option is selected here, and that is pointing to quizzes, which is this one. Submit, and all of the questions have been moved up, and then you delete this one. Same for the next set of questions, manage questions, select all questions, move to quizzes, submit, it's gone, delete that, manage questions, submit. So now all of my questions are in here. A while ago, no, in the morning when we're creating the online test of quizzes, I said, even though the system prompts you to input a question label, you're really not obliged to. In other words, if you don't put in the number 1, 2, 3, 4, it's not an issue. The system will automatically do that for you. Like here, say, because some of it had same numbers, because we imported questions from multiple quizzes. So in one quiz, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, in another quiz. So when it takes 1, 2, 3, 4 in the first, and the next quiz comes with the same numbering, it's not going to post it. It will simply post the questions. Now, when it's being displayed to students, they don't see this. They see the perfect numbering, 1 to 20, 1 to 10, just as you have it. And so I can now go in here and modify my quick test. Edit. I can do regular. All questions in the section are given to every student. I can do pool. A random selection from the pool of questions is given to each student. I can do random. So I can do regular. And then question order is random. So questions are shuffled into random order for each student. So question 1 for student A may not be question 1 for may not be question 1 for student B. And then of course I'll set up the time limit. So this is where you can come and either do the pool or the random. Pool here again, a random selection from a pool of questions. So you can have say 100 questions in the quiz, but you're only evaluating students on 50 questions out of the 100. That's pool. But if you want students to see all of the questions, you do random. A different question is presented to different students. And then, of course, once you have your options checked or selected, you hit on save, and the quiz is ready. So I just kind of created, say, a test or an exam or a midterm exam from questions I already saved in my file cabinet. I didn't have to type the questions from scratch. Okay. So we've talked about saving assignments. Okay. Now this is what I demonstrated is for online tests. You can also do the same for file upload assignments. Same scenario. You save in the file cabinet. So let's do that. Let's pull up an assignment. We're gonna have to go to coursework. So if we pull out assignment 1, you go to more, save to file cabinet. It's saved in the file cabinet. Now, if I were to be teaching this same course or a different section of this course, while I'm creating, since it's a different section of the same course, I'll be giving the same assignment. So instead of creating an entirely new assignment 1, I'll simply import it from the file cabinet into my coursework. Same scenario. So you start by creating an assignment, go back to coursework, unit 2, add an assignment. You want to go with file upload since that's what and it could be what assignment 2 or assignment 1 in a different section. Input your due date. November 22nd. I want it open now. Points 25. Oh no. Hold on. Okay. So once for the file upload, this is where you import the question. It's not. This is where there's a slight difference between the file upload and the online. So for the file upload, you import the questions right within this window. See right here. So instead of me having to create the questions, I'll simply go ahead and import an existing assignment. Import, and I'm looking for assignment 1. This is it right here. So if I were to do this, these are the questions we typed for assignment 1 when we created it in the morning. Okay, so you can always save files. You can always save assignments or quizzes in the file cabinet, and then use those later on when needed. The last aspect of importing is that of copying course materials. And that's where the beauty of setting up all of your content in the course comes in. If you're teaching a course this semester, which you know for sure that you'll be teaching next semester, once you do the job now, next semester you'll just be doing some minor modifications or edits. So I have this course right here. 3330 section 3 is being taught this semester. It's been fairly developed. The content is there, the grading page, the units, the handouts, the bookmarks, the coursework is there. Now, if I happen to be assigned the same course next semester, instead of having to go through all of this, I simply sit down and with the click of a mouse, I'll have all of this in the new course share. So how does that play out? What you want to do is pull up the, actually you don't need to pull up the new course. You don't need to. What you do is within this window, where it's on the left-hand side, look at Course Manager. Click on Course Manager. Okay? When you click on Course Manager, a new window pops up. Click on Course Export. Now, in the previous version, it wasn't like this. The one with the update, it was changed. Once you click on Course Export, look for Course Copy feature. Once you click on Course Copy feature, it takes you to the window you're used to. This right here. And then, of course, you select the term. Where do you want to copy from? In my case, it's this current term, 2019-2020. And then the course is section 3. And then where do you want to copy it to? I'm looking for, of course, the future course will not be here because it's not yet displayed. And that's because usually you get to see the future course at the earliest 21 days to the beginning of the new semester. So sometime around December, we should be able to do this successfully. But I'll go ahead and do it right here because I had taken off the content from this. Let me go back. I'm going to cancel this. So if we come in here, courses, see, this is fairly empty. There are no, is it this one? Did I copy the content? Okay, cool. See, there are no handout. There's just one handout because we uploaded this one this morning. This was done this morning. There's just one handout, one bookmark, and then this is not complete, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this section 3, which has all of this and the coursework into this right here, F29, because there's no student in the class, so I mean, it won't mess up anything. So again, you go to Course Manager. In the previous version of eRacer, copy course was just right here, but the new version has been moved. So go to Course Manager, then click on Course Export, and then click on course copy feature, select term, 2019-2024, and then we want to copy from section 3 into this guy right here, this course. Now, when it comes to you copying course content from one course to another, you can copy everything or you can select what you want to copy. Of course, the easiest is copying everything. But if you've already set up your coursework, you can decide, you can then select course content, so you don't mess up the coursework. In other words, if you already started building your course, instead of copying everything from a previous course and then messing up what you did already, you want to avoid that. But if your course shell is still blank, or if you want to erase whatever it is you have in the course shell, you can go ahead and do everything.
Is there a way to set up just a course that's not created yet? Like, can we create a course?
We don't have that. We don't have that ability. The registrars of this has to create a course.
Okay.
That for us not to copy everything and make a mistake. What was that option?
You do select course content.
Selected content?
Yeah, selected content. You click on this. Once you click on this, it gives you the ability to select specific content.
It's at the beginning, when you haven't given grade and all that, it's easy. You can
Yeah, at the beginning,
once
yeah.
you give grades,
Yeah. And then, of course, you have the option either merge or override. Merge is going to, of course, maintain what you have and then add. Override is going to delete whatever you have and then. So let's do everything. We're going from here to this. And then simply click on copy. Are you sure you want to copy? Of course, this will delete any existing content in those courses, okay? And the process will go through. So once you do all that work this semester, next semester, you simply click, use at the click of a mouse, you're set to go within your first week of school. All of the assignments will be there. All of the handouts, all of the video lessons, whatever it is that you did this semester will be there. And you simply go in and make any minor modification. So we copied from here to here. So I'm finished copying my course material. And then you can go in and just verify to double check that things are the way you intended them to be. So this right here, it shows that it was copied from this section. So you can now go in and modify this to reflect this section. The handouts are there now. The bookmarks, the coursework, coursework is. So I didn't have to sit down and create all of this again. We simply go in and modify the due dates. Okay, that brings something to my mind. So a while ago, when we created the online quizzes and the assignments, we kind of went through how to set up the due dates. So that's how you go about setting up due dates for individual assignments. You also have the ability of modifying due dates for a group of assignments. So if I want to modify the due dates for the assignments within this unit, simply come here and click Edit Due Dates. And you do it right here.
For the classes that they're all the same and you're going to do it.
Sorry?
I said for the classes that they are all the same, you can do this. You know, like after that, something like that.
Yes, yes.
But some classes, they say we have it in Monday, Wednesday, Friday, some we have on Tuesday, Thursday.
Yes.
So we can just do the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, different day, and for the Tuesday, Thursday, do different day.
Yes, you can give different due dates. Yes, since the students meet on different days and times.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how you go about copying content from one course into another course. And then, of course, you want to make the necessary changes. You don't want students to come to this course and be seeing section 3. They're not in section 3, it's section, I think, 9 or so. I can't remember. Savings. Okay. The last thing I have is that of creating and uploading video lessons. But before we move to this, because it's really not part of eRacer, does anyone have any specific questions or concerns regarding eRacer?
That greeting, do you have it in a Word document?
Sorry?
The greetings. The one you have for the greetings.
Yeah, I can email it to you.
Yeah, I am really excited, but I've never used greetings before. I just holler at them. But I might
I
use
would
that
like
greeting.
it as well.
Yeah, I like that greeting that how you put that together.
Yeah, I'll
I've
email
never
it.
used greeting.
I'll email it to you guys.
Yeah.
Let me see. I don't have everybody's email address. How do I get this? If I were to give that to Dr. Taylor.
Dr. Taylor,
She can send it to us.
Okay. And of course, mine is not the best. You can draw inspiration from mine
It's
and
pretty good.
come up with something
Yeah, we
better.
just add to that.
Yeah. So sometimes you want to set up your content on the learning management system in such a way that if you were not to be able to make it to class, the students are still able to listen to you talk to them. And that's where the video lesson comes in. Of course, if it's an online class, then of course you have no other reason. I mean, you have no excuse not to do that. So that's where this comes in. When it comes to creating and uploading a video lesson, you want to, of course, prepare your lesson and rehearse it and practice. It's not like when you're teaching a class, you want to have it handy and if possible, rehearse. You want to have all of your resources on your computer or laptop. Then also you want to use a video capture platform. There are many quote unquote free video capture platforms out there. You also need a laptop with an inbuilt webcam or a desktop with a webcam, whichever, it really doesn't matter. So a laptop with a webcam or a desktop with an external webcam. You're also going to need all laptops nowadays come with inbuilt microphones. However, those microphones are not very efficient. They are not designed to filter the sound. So they're going to capture any noise in the room or around. So you want to get something. This is I think it's about $15 in Walmart. It comes with a headset and a mic, something like this. So it picks your sound right there while you're talking, while you're recording your lesson. It's USB. It's plug and play. Once you plug it in your laptop, it will pick up. It will be connected. Now the video capture platform which I use is Zoom. It's what I'm using right now to record this session. So you simply go to Zoom. Again, as I said, there are many platforms out there, but this is what I'm using. So what do you want to? You go to zoom.com if you prefer to use this one, or if you can find any other that's. You create an account, sign up. It's free. For a free account, you get what? Unlimited time.
45 minutes.
Hold on.
Oh, sorry.
45 minutes is if you have more than 2 users at the other end. if you adjust yourself by yourself
Uh-huh.
on the platform, it's unlimited.
Oh, good.
I've been recording the session. All the entire morning session was recorded. That's because it's just like I'm the only
Okay,
person.
okay.
But once you get any other person connected into the platform, that's when you get to the 40 minutes.
Oh, good.
Okay. So if you're going to record a lesson, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, as long as you are alone on the conference, it's a video conference, you can go on for 2-3 hours non-stop. Now, once you invite a second or third party into the video conference, your time is limited to 40 minutes because it's the free version. Now, if you want to have multiple parties or individuals in the video conference for an extended period, that's when you start paying them some money. Okay. So once you create an account in Zoom, you're going to be required to download the Zoom application onto your device, laptop or desktop. And once you do that, every time you need to use it, you simply log in. So like when I came in this morning, I simply logged into Zoom and started a video conferencing meeting. And I decided to do screen share. When you by doing screen share, it's recording whatever is going on my screen and capturing the sound. I'm using this because it's a bit more efficient than the inbuilt microphone. So it will record it, and then you have, at the end of the session, you're going to have the audio and the video. So you can post, if you decide to do a podcast, you can just post the audio. But of course, you want the students to actually see you explaining stuff, then you post the video.
Okay, can you back up and do that again? Because I can't really see what's going on up on the table. So what is it that allows you to capture both yourself and what's going on the screen?
Okay. What allows me to capture this is what is referred to as a video capture platform.
Uh-huh.
And there are many platforms out there.
Right, that I understood.
And I'm using a free platform, which is known as Zoom.
Uh-huh.
And it's simply zoom.com. You go to zoom.com, where it defaults to .us. It doesn't matter.
Okay, so my question is how is it capturing both you and what's on the screen? Is the camera on the...
No, the camera is on my laptop.
Okay, and that's capturing you.
I turned it off. So because I didn't want it to capture me, but it's capturing the screen, my computer, my laptop screen. So whatever is being displayed on my screen is being recorded.
Okay.
Now, if I wanted to be, of course, let me turn it on. Let me minimize this. So if I want, oh, it's right there. If I want my image to be captured, simply come here and turn on the video.
There he is.
Right.
She's recording him now.
That's me.
Okay.
I took it off
and
because-
that shows both the...
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So
Okay.
the students can see you, and of course, get to relate to you, so to speak. But I turned it off simply because, again, I didn't want to.
They can still see what's on the screen.
Yeah, they're still seeing. It's recording whatever you're seeing on the screen right now. It's recording it.
And what was it that you did that you punched to do that? Because
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I'm
See the video.
Okay.
You can stop it or turn it. You can stop. If I stop it, you don't see me. I'm gone.
Stop or start
Yeah.
video.
And then
Fabulous.
How do you, when you go to that ribbon, you don't see the video, how do you go to it?
where?
Over.
You right here?
It
Oh,
just
okay,
slides down.
so
The slides, yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're writing on a tablet,
I've not tablet. I've not used tablet before. I see what you're talking about.
so we have to just go to an electronic board and write on that. Since math, I can just talk out.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I've not played with that. You may want to find out. There's got to be a way of capturing that.
We used to have a projector.
Overhead projector.
Yeah.
Yeah. That may be something you want to play with.
Is it such equipment so we can?
There should
put the
be.
computer and put it on here. that
Yes.
can be right.
Yes. For example, if you have a webcam which can be detached
Oh, uh-huh.
Then you can just. put
Yeah,
it
yes, you put it there. It will capture it. So you may want to buy an external webcam and then plug it here and have it stand and point it to wherever you're writing.
Yeah, Zoom has other features too. I think you can
Yeah, that's
do some annotations on them.
But they took all the software away and put
Okay.
those TV.
Okay, what did you just say? Because I can't.
I think Zoom, I'm not certain, but I think Zoom has an annotation feature to it that you could, like his math, he could just open up a blank PowerPoint and type or write on it, but I don't know all that part of Zoom either, but.
Yeah. If I want to use a PowerPoint that is posted on the web.
Yes.
How can that won't be like a plagiarism or whatever, or without permission or something? I can show that.
It depends on whoever posted it. What did they say? If they say it's in the free domain,
Yeah.
in the public domain, it's not an issue. If it's under Creative Commons laws, it's not an issue.
Yeah.
But if it is from a publisher, vendor, Engage, and all of those, you want to be very careful about that.
Because sometimes those are set that you have to put your own voice and explain it.
Yes, yes.
Otherwise, I can link it to it. But when you link it with it, they don't understand it. So if I be able to show that and my voice go with it to say that's what this happened.
Yeah. So in addition to preparing your video lesson and posting it up there, you also may be required to attend to a student. So what you do is you create a meeting, which of course is a video conferencing meeting, and email the link to the student. And then of course, when it's time for the meeting, they log into Zoom. And any participant can join with any device, smartphone, tablet, then you're on your computer. As long as they have access to the internet, you guys can interact on this platform.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They had tried to train us on this with Dr. Jones, but then they found out we only had 2 or 3 computers that could be used.
Yeah, it kept kind of breaking down.
And it kept breaking down. So they said the school wasn't prepared for it or something. I don't know.
Yeah, because we don't have those kinds of web cameras.
Yes, sir.
So is there any way, not using separate platform like that, directly on the GIFs, like when you go in there, we see this little intro video. Can we do this for our
Not directly on GIFs.
we can.
You cannot. GIF does not have a video capture feature. It doesn't have that. Have you guys heard of Canvas?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Canvas has a video capture feature. If you log into the Canvas learning management system, you can record a video as long as you have a webcam on your laptop. Okay. GIF doesn't have that feature. So what you do is once you create a video lesson like this, you post it onto YouTube. And then take the link from YouTube and dump it in GIFs.
So you post it on YouTube?
Yes. YouTube after YouTube.
So like the video I have here, what I showed you guys in the morning. See this right here? This is a video I created using Zoom and posted it in this class. So when students come, they will click on this.
And it goes to YouTube.
It goes to YouTube.
Hello everyone, welcome to the computer literacy class. The purpose of this video is to ensure that you're able to navigate this course without any difficulty.
Okay,
or
but
with little
there's
to
a
no
video
difficulty.
that's embedded. I mean, we just saw it.
Where?
The video that's embedded on GIFs.
Yeah, that was my question.
I mean,
Okay, hold on. Let's go. Yes, it's. I took a video of the web portal because I wanted to demonstrate to the students how to log into. I started from where the students should be. So that's why you were saying that.
But in the past, Christy Howard showed up on a lot of them. Do you remember those days?
Yeah.
And they were embedded. I don't know how she did it, but there were these introductory videos on like all the different pages in the web portal.
Okay.
I want to know how they did that.
No, you simply create a video, upload it to YouTube, get the link, and then paste it on.
But the
But
video
it doesn't-
itself shows up.
yeah.
As soon as you go to that page, there's the video,
Yeah.
not a link.
Not for me.
In
Yes,
the
yes.
links
When you
or-
click on the link, it pulls up the video.
No,
That-
no,
that's
it
not
was
openable
there.
on Read.
It opens it immediately.
Maybe I don't. Hold on.
You're talking about in jigs or on the website?
In
the
jigs.
jigs. In the jigs.
Okay.
Well,
Now
is there an
this is my
HTML?
course. This is the course I'm teaching in jigs.
Right. I
This-
understand.
This right here is a video I created.
Before the update, as soon as you logged in, there's a video and it's telling you something. I don't remember now. And then if you clicked on faculty, there's a different video and it says something.
Yeah, those
You know, but
apparently
They
with the.
never did tell us how to do that for our classes.
Okay, I see what you're talking about. Yeah. Maybe with the updates, the videos were taken away.
They were, everything
Is there
was
an
here.
HTML editor or any sort in the jigs? You can
Maybe.
manipulate?
Somehow it was embedded,
See,
like in
that-
the.
Okay, it's still there. It's still there.
Yeah, that one.
Like
you
that?
can see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
how did that get there? is what we
Yeah.
want to know.
How does it get here? See, this is a YouTube
There
video.
was-
Right, but it
Well,
looks
how-
like
It's not linked, but it's right there. That's what we want to do.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah, so that they see our picture
Yeah,
or whatever, and then there's the little forward play symbol, that's what I'm
This one right
I'm
here.
sorry, it's been like this all day, I have no words. The little play symbol.
This one.
And then you punch play.
Okay.
And it does that. And I'm like, that's really cool. How do I embed my video so that it shows up rather than just being text?
Okay.
Sorry.
I understand. Now, so you have
Figure that
to.
out and make a video for us.
Okay.
Figure that out and make a video for us.
Okay. I'll do that. I'll do
To
that.
be introduced at a later date.
Okay.
Okay, so that's what Dr. Lee and I thought this was good.
Yeah.
So that's why we just like, okay, cancel my class, I'm gonna be here.
Yeah, because music classes, we're required to show, demonstrate how to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, that would- yeah, that would be great.
I'm so excited.
Okay, first of all, let's begin.
Okay. Obviously, that's the little professional video they made, but it's not your phone.
But it's
There's gotta be a place where that could be.
He is looking at. Oh, THCB, the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board as a consultant.
Okay. Any other concerns about eRacer or recording of video lessons?
I'm sorry, say again.
Any other concerns about eRacer or the recording of video lessons? Yes, sir.
You did email us some information. I wasn't here the first part. I wasn't here this morning.
It's recorded, so today was Friday. It should be available at the latest Monday. From what Dr. Taylor told me, we posted on Jigs.
So you can look at them here.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Um,
And now you know what we want to know how to do.
yeah.
I already do all this other stuff.
Yeah, we're not doing
As I said when we started in the morning, when you sit down to build your content, you don't do it in one day. It's something you do gradually. And so once you start working at it, you don't give up until you have it fairly fully developed. once it's completely done, every other semester you simply copy the content and make minor modifications. And so if at any point in time you need any additional assistance, that's my contact information, phone number, and of course, email address. If possible, we can always do Zoom conferencing. You get to see, or I get to see what you're having on your screen, or you get to see what I'm having on my screen. Please make sure you sign in if you didn't, for those who came in late or came in this afternoon.
Do you teach at Wiley? Do you teach? What do you teach?
I teach at Wiley.
Biology,
Oh, okay, okay.
computer science. Oh, so are we through?
Is that it?
If no more questions, concerns,
I have a 3 o'clock class I can't.
thank you.